In 1330, under a scorching sun, James the Black Douglas, loyal comrade of Robert de Brus, grips a wooden box holding his fallen king's heart. Tasked with its crusade, he rides with his Black Knights, heirs to the Templar legacy. In fierce defiance he hurls the heart forward, crying, "Lead on, Braveheart, as thou wast wont to do." The knights charge, swords gleaming, into a storm of Saracen blades. Douglas falls, his sacrifice eternal. From that day, the Douglas crest bears the true Braveheart, a symbol of undying valour. The Douglas family story weaves deep into Scotland's fight for freedom. James's stepmother, Eleanor de Louvain, heiress of Cressing Temple Barns, a Templar stronghold tied to Magna Carta, was a ward of Edward I. William Le Hardy Douglas had kidnapped her from an English castle, sparking a love that led to marriage. Eleanor was undoubtedly Maid Marian, casting Le Hardy as the Robin Hood figure of legend. The Douglases were no strangers to sacred alliances, as the Black Douglas's great-uncle served as Tyrannentian prior at Lesmahago, safeguarding the family's charters. This vital monastic order included Bernard of Kilwinning, who authored the Declaration of Arbroath, and William de Lamberton, Bishop of St. Andrews, who took the young Black Douglas under his wing in France. As the Templars faced their later suppression in 1307, Douglas emerged as a leader of the exiled knights under the protection of the Tyrannentians, preserving the Templars' martial spirit in Scotland's rugged hills. The Douglas legacy endured through James's grandson, William Douglas of Nithsdale, who joined the Teutonic Knights. Their daughter mothered William St. Clair, builder of Rosslyn Chapel, where Templar and Masonic symbols are carved in stone. His daughters, the Countesses of Atholl and Roths, wove the Douglas bloodline into Scotland's first Freemasons, including John Boswell and the Dukes of Atholl. But before this storied legacy, one man's defiance set it all in motion, Robert de Brus. To claim Scotland's crown, Bruce forged ties with the Knights Templar and ancient royal bloodlines. His first wife, Isabella Delmar of Kildrummy, carried the legacy of Llewellyn the Great, Prince of Wales, whose rights were enshrined in Magna Carta, but crushed by Edward I's conquest. After Isabella's death, Bruce married Elizabeth de Burgh of Ireland, whose lineage traced to Gilbert de Lacy, a Templar preceptor, as well as all the way back to Godfrey de Saint-Omer, co-founder of the Templar Order. These alliances would shape Bruce's destiny, binding him to the Templars' cause on Scotland's Western Isles. To understand how he rose from fugitive to king, we must follow his daring movements from 1306, a tale of rebellion, survival, and sacred oaths. Our story begins in February, where, at Greyfriars Kirk in Dumfries, Robert de Brus confronts his rival to the crown, John the Red Comyn. A heated argument turns deadly as Bruce stabs Comyn at the altar. The act has King Edward and his son vowing an oath on the swans to invade the nation once more. By March, Bruce is at Ericstein near Moffat. Here he meets James, the fierce Black Douglas, whose loyalty will shape the Braveheart legend. Days later, on March the 25th, Bruce reaches Scone, being careful to avoid the English around the Firth of Forth. In a defiance ceremony, he's crowned King of Scots by Isabella Macduff, as was her clan's right. He sends his family, Irish wife, daughter, and sisters, to the safety of Kildrummy Castle in the north. For the English king, Edward I, soon strikes back. In June, at the Battle of Methven, Bruce's forces are ambushed by Aymer de Valence. Outnumbered, his army scatters to the winds. Bruce flees westward, a hunted king, through rugged Perthshire hills towards the safety of the more Gaelic highlands. By August he is defeated again by the MacDougals at Dalry. Allied to the Comyns, Bruce barely escapes south to Loch Lomond. The Black Douglas secures a rowboat, and the last few Bruce men are ferried safely to the western shore, where they recover under an ancient yew. Moving on, they reach the safety of Innischannel Castle on Loch Awe, belonging to his friend Neil Campbell, but can only rest a while as the MacDougals are near. By November, Brus manages to escape to the safety of the islands of Mull and Iona. Here, the oral tradition suggests that he met ex-Templar knights, dispirited warriors having left Cyprus after the fall of Acre in 1291. Note the arms of the 22nd Grand Master of the Templar Order, who managed to bring the Templars' lore, relics, and treasures to Cyprus following the loss of Acre and the death of the 21st Grand Master, Guillaume de Bijou. All of a sudden, the MacDonald's clan arms change from the Roman eagle to the rampant lion, together with a crosslet fichi, as does the MacDougall clans, who merged later with the Appin Stuarts in reconciliation with the Brus. Their Gaelic motto is the famous Templars' motto of conquer or die. The ritual of the Royal Order of Scotland tells us that the order was re-established on Iona, anglicised as Icolmkill, and then finally at Kilwinning, where the King of Scots sat as Grand Master of the new order. It was on Iona, in the winter of 1306, that the Brus trained with these ex-Templar knights, kindling a new brotherhood tied to ancient Templar rites, the Royal Order of Scotland. February 1307 marks Brus's comeback, with over 60 galleys. Brus lands at Turnberry, while his brothers lead an attack on Loch Ryan, but are defeated. Undeterred, Brus reclaims his ancestral home, using Templar tactics to surprise the English garrison. March sees the Black Douglas unleash terror at Douglas Castle with the Black Knights. Known as the Douglas Larder, he slaughters the English garrison, burns the castle, and poisons his wells, following the scorched earth tactics the Templars employed in the Holy Land. Meanwhile, the Brus employs more guerrilla tactics, ambushing English forces in the narrow glen of Glen Trull, rolling boulders down the hill to crush them. In May, now reunited with the Douglas at Loudoun Hill, Brus's spearmen rout Aymer de Valance's cavalry, proving his growing strength. It was the first time that the Flemish goedendag, a long-pointed stick with a sharp end, had been used by the Scots in battle. Guillaume de Dampierre's Flemish forces had used it previously against the French king, with his daughter having married Prince Alexander of Scotland, prior to the Brus attaining the throne. The Flemish knights of both Guillaume de Bijou, 21st Grand Master, and de Dampierre were loyal to the Scots, their merchants closely allied through the wool trade. By June, on St. John's Day, Robert de Brus was invested as the Grand Master of a new order, establishing the Heredom or inheritance of Kilwinning, home to Scotland's Mother Lodge. Furious to hear that Templar treasure might now lie in Scotland, Edward I, the Hammer of the Scots, personally leads an invasion, but dies in July near Carlisle, vowing to keep his oath against the rebellion of Robert de Brus. Edward's son was married to the King of France's daughter, and both English and French kings had been raiding the temples of London and Paris to finance their wars. With the death of Edward I, Philip and Guillaume de Nogray, the keeper of the seals, an original intendant descendant of Wolfram's Parzival, now vow to destroy the Templar Order. Their plan is put into action on Friday, 13th of October 1307, with Philip disbanding the Templars in Paris and de Nogray torturing knights to uncover the secrets of their grail and where it might have gone. Once kept at Monzon Castle, it had moved following the Cathar Inquisition and may well have also landed in Scotland with the ex-Templar knights from Cyprus. On hearing the news, Brus's Black Knights, still identifiable as Templars, ride with the Appin Stuarts to the Appin of Dull and Weem, finding refuge within the 1-mile radius of the Tyrannentians' Garth Cross. It is at this northern centre of learning that we see the gravestone of the Third Degree, highlighting the legend of the death of Hiram Abiff. Some of the knights settled at Blair Atholl, where legend tells that around 700 years ago, some brave men of Murray arrived in the area, vowing to defend the fields of New Ireland. Accompanied by the Appin Stuarts, who married into the Menzies clan of the area, the clan motto, "Whither will ye?" reminds us of the Book of Enoch. "Whither will ye flee when he has brought the fire upon ye?" The unicorn reminds us that the Templars may also have venerated an ancient horn as one of their relics. To this day, the national animal of Scotland remains the unicorn. By March 1308, the rest of the Black Knights reached the Tyrannentians' Peterculture Priory and the Templars' Maryculture Preceptory, near Aberdeen, rallying any remaining ex-Templars. In May, Bruce crushes the Comyns at the Battle of Inverurie, then harries their lands, breaking their northern power base. Finally, in August, Bruce faces the MacDougals again at the Pass of Brander. With Douglas and the Black Knights, he ambushes and defeats them, replacing the clan with the Appin Stewarts, who marry the heiress of Lorne. Their son, the Black Knight of Lorne, would carry the Templar traditions forward. His son, the first Earl of Atholl, marrying William St. Clair's daughter, being the ancestors of all early Grand Masters of Antient Scottish and Premier Lodge Freemasonry. By September 1309, Bruce holds his first Gaelic parliament at Ardchattan. Here, his knights, fueled by their Templar loyalty and rage against Philip of France, pledge their revenge in the rituals of the Scottish Rite, which we still see today. From this time onward, a Black Knight at sea would become known as a pirate, flying the skull and bones flag of revenge. Unfortunately, for the remaining Black Knights on land, we only have fragments that remain, most of the oral tradition and history having been wiped out by the Hanoverians, which came to rule English Freemasonry, as well as the English crown. We have to therefore explore the knowledge carried by the Jacobite clans after the expulsions of 1715 to France, where the Scottish Rite was resuscitated in the Grand Lodge de France, so instrumental in the French Revolution and the founding of the United States of America. Like and subscribe now to continue the journey with us as we uncover more of the secrets that have shaped the world as we know it today.